All right. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Dreambound. Last episode, I stopped you guys in a little bit of a cliffhanger of my own making. Somebody opened the door to Asher and Noah's parents' house. They just kind of stepped inside, and it was very... Who's on the other side of that door? Who's breaking in? And so now I'll let you guys see who that is and the resulting conversation, the resulting fight that goes on. Somebody was there. Could only be one person, unless it's a robber, I suppose. Noah glanced about the living room, his body taut and his eyes wide with trepidation when... Hey. I see you got here already, and that you let yourself in, too. Why the hell didn't you text me to let me know that you got here, though? Aren't you supposed to be the polite one? A familiar voice drifted from the hallway. It was, of course, Asher. Noah heard his brother sliding off his shoes in the entrance hall and hanging up his coat. Noah turned over the thought of greeting Asher, but the thought of rising from the sofa seemed, all of a sudden, an impossibility. I'm too tired to deal with this. Now I'm starting to wonder, why did I come here again? Asher finished in the entrance hall, then headed to the living room. Noah heard the padding of footsteps and the creaking of the living room door being pushed ajar. Make way. He swiveled his head, still sitting on the couch, to meet his older brother's gaze. And when he did, Noah flinched. Asher was standing in the doorway, his arms crossed. Asher, much like the room he inhabited, looked much the same as Noah remembered. Which was to say, his expression was contorted into a look of obvious dislike. Here I was, thinking he wanted to be civil with me. Maybe I really am naive. Asher's gaze was not, however, trained on Noah, oh boy. He was looking past his younger brother, at the man who sat on the couch beside him. He was staring at Cain. Hey, I'd like to say it's good to see you, but you and I both know that'd be a fucking lie. The circumstances are awful enough as it is. What the hell's he doing here? Hey, he does have a name, you know. Believe me, I'm well aware. How could I not know your name when you were more well-liked by our parents than either of us? Of course Noah would bring you along. Can't go anywhere without your little friend, can you? Could have at least told me, asshole. Huh? Cain looked at Noah, blinking bemusedly. Didn't you mention that I was coming with you? It must have slipped my mind. This, of course, was a complete fabrication. It hadn't slipped Noah's mind that he ought to tell Asher about Cain. How could it? Noah might have had a lot to deal with lately, but he hadn't gone senile. Not just yet, at least. My mind might start giving up on me if I keep jumping through all these dreams. But that's something I can worry about later. For the present, I've got to deal with this. Shit. Noah sighed. He hadn't told Asher about Cain because he had known it would cause problems. The pair of them had never liked one another. Cain disliked Asher because he knew how Asher had treated Noah, and as for Asher, well, Noah wasn't sure what Asher had against him, but maybe he hated Cain on principle, simply because he was Noah's friend. Asher was petty enough to take against people solely because they associated with his younger brother. I think he honestly just has a problem with every single person on this planet. Minus Reuben, I guess. Slipped your mind, huh? Asher didn't look convinced by Noah's excuse, but he didn't press it. Instead, he sighed. Well, it's probably my fault. I forgot that your head is so far up your own ass with all your art and shit that you don't stop to consider anybody else. Our parents did just die. Look, I forgot. Sorry. But I grew up here just as much as you did. If I want to bring someone with me, I can. Trying to plan a funeral and sort through the belongings of our dead parents, Noah. I say that calls for letting someone know you're bringing a friend over. Whatever. You being inconsiderate is nothing new. Can you not function by yourself? I can function just fine, thank you. Can you, now? Asher snorted. That'd be news to me. I thought you were still wasting away in that grotty little apartment of yours while Kane babied you. But what do I know? Maybe things have changed. I think I've changed a fair amount since we last saw each other. You're the one who hasn't changed. You think? I'll take that as a compliment, given I've been getting fuck-all sleep lately. It's not easy, you know, trying to arrange a funeral for your parents while keeping up with your grades and working part-time jobs. Not that you'd know anything about hard work, of course. You just ran away and spent all your time drawing pictures while Kane handled all the difficult stuff, huh? Asher, you... Hey! Kane interjected before Noah could retort, his hands balled into fists. How about you try watching your mouth for once? I understand that you should have been told I was coming. Noah should have mentioned it, but that's no reason to start giving him shit. You're not the only one whose parents died. Have a little empathy for once in your miserable little life. Well, I know that. I think I'm the only one out of the two of us who gives a damn, though. What makes you say that, huh? Lots of reasons. The chief one being that Noah didn't try and contact me until a week after we heard they died. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream dutiful son to me. Since I'm the oldest, I was the one who was stuck taking care of everything. And do you know what? Asher pressed on without waiting for a reply, a muscle twitching beneath his neck. I'm getting pretty fucking sick of doing all the hard work around here. I've been busting my ass off while you've been, who the fuck knows, crying into Kane's shirt. Get a fucking life and live for yourself for once. Or maybe you're too busy forgetting August that you're using him as a replacement. Keep his name out of your mouth, you piece of shit. Kane and I are just friends. Sure, that's what they all say. Did you even wait until his body was cold to move on? Asher might not have struck Noah, but his words had a heft to them which left Noah feeling dazed, almost breathless. Noah raised his fist, but Kane caught hold of his arm before he could do any damage. Talking about August's death was a low blow, even coming from Asher. Asher had been cruel to Noah while they had been young, and he had often been sadistic, but would he really stoop so low as to use August's death as a gotcha? Asher himself had been the one to give him a lift to the hospital when Noah was so stunned he could no longer formulate words. Speech was an ability which had been lost to him. Instead, he sat there, gawping like a goldfish, while Asher continued, on and on and on. I guess that's about as much as I can expect from a guy like you, though. You self-centered prick. How about you shut your mouth before I shut it for you? He scowled at his older brother, feeling angrier than he had in a long time. For many years after August's death, Noah's emotions had been curiously blunted. He'd been able to feel anger, but it hadn't flared up with the same intensity as it had during his teenage years. He simply hadn't had the energy for it. It was different now, however, with Asher. Noah's anger was white-hot, and it seared. His whole body trembled from it. Don't lose your cool, Noah. That would defeat the whole purpose in coming here. I have to try and diffuse the tension somehow. Maybe we can still find some common ground? Noah took a deep breath, hoping that this would be enough to steady himself. Then, he responded to his older brother's provocations, doing his best to keep his voice from wavering. I thought you wanted to meet me so we could talk. I am talking to you, and to Loverboy here too. I'm opening my mouth and words are coming out. Doesn't that count? God, he was always such a smug bastard. I'd almost forgotten. Seeing him in that dream looking so vulnerable must have thrown me. He sure as hell isn't acting vulnerable right now, though. Oh, please, don't give me that. You and I both know that what you're doing isn't talking. You're just treating me like you always have, like I'm less than dirt for doing something as simple as bringing a friend over. Not a crime. This house doesn't just belong to you. It is when we have so much to discuss between us, yeah. Then start discussing. All this arguing is a waste of time. This is a discussion for family. Since when are you and I family? Well, you have a point. Look, I don't have to hang around. I can go find something else to do and leave you two to talk for a while. I'm not in the fucking mood anymore. I'd rather drink paint thinner than talk to you. I'd rather you drink paint thinner too. Why don't you all do us a favor? It would spare me the headache of having to deal with you. It doesn't matter what I say or what I do. I'm going to be made out as the bad guy, as per usual. Well, maybe if you didn't act like the bad guy, you wouldn't be one. Here I was, ready to settle down with you over a drink and have a big, long talk, all about our parents and about our feelings and shit. But when I said I wanted to talk, I meant I wanted to talk to you, Noah. Not you and a +1. I'm not arranging a wedding here, you know? I'm arranging a fucking funeral. I know you're pretty shit at reading the room since you've been holed up inside a room for years on end, but funerals are supposed to be private family affairs. It's not a fucking free-for-all. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, to watch our parents being lowered into the cold, hard ground. Come for the grieving and stay for egg sandwiches at the wake afterwards. I have enough shit on my plate to deal with, what with trying to get all this arranged without having to babysit one of your friends. Noah had been quiet during his older brother's tirade, not knowing when to jump in, or even more importantly, if he should. Asher's voice had trailed off, however. His recriminations were replaced with heavy breathing. He must have tired himself out. Bitch, I'm tired, and I'm having to read all this. Just like a baby throwing a temper tantrum. And Asher's supposed to be the older brother. Would it kill him to act a little more mature? I'm not the one overcomplicating anything. You are. You know that Kane's never been a bother. I mean, hell, even Mom liked him, and she never liked any of my other friends. I don't think she'd have any issues with him showing up to the funeral. He's probably better than either of us at planning one of these things anyway. Maybe she wouldn't, but what she wants doesn't matter, does it? I don't know if you've gotten the memo, bro, but she's past caring about anything at the moment. She's fucking dead. I know she's dead. I watch the news just like you do. I'm not an ignorant child. Oh, right. You watched the news, did you? Asher scoffed. Well, that's alright then. Good on you, Noah, for watching the fucking news. I'm glad you're not completely ignorant. But if you think you know what death looks like from a single news story, then you're dead fucking wrong. I beg your pardon? You might have heard about Mom and Dad's deaths on the news, but you didn't see them. Not like I did. You saw them? I didn't have much of a choice. I'm the poor fucker who had to go see their bodies at the mortuary to confirm that yes, it really was them. I had to miss a couple of lectures for that. It really threw me off. Liar, you were missing your lectures already. I heard about it already from Miss Pearson. You say I don't understand the gravity of this situation, but I'm not the one using our parents' death to excuse my own bad habits. Seeing Mom and Dad, though, lying on a couple slabs like that, like meat in the window of a butcher's shop. Asher shuddered. Convulsions ran through his body, and, for a few moments, Noah almost felt sorry for his older brother. These feelings were soon extinguished, however, when a grim-faced Asher rounded on him. That's what death really looks like, Noah. It's rigor mortis and black, lifeless eyes and people you thought you knew, people who used to hug you and scold you and tuck you into bed at night, being reduced to shells of their former selves. It's much, much more vivid than anything you'd ever see on a TV screen. It's much more visceral. It all felt like some sort of bad joke, bad or a nightmare. But it wasn't. It was real. Our parents are dead. I saw them both with my own 2 eyes, while you were busy playing at being the sad, starving artist. I had to identify the bodies because you never would have bothered. You couldn't give a shit. You've always been so self-obsessed, even after our parents have both up and fucking died. I suppose it doesn't matter to you, though. You only ever cared about August. Asher. Noah stared his older brother down, his nostrils flaring. Had enough of this. How many times do you want our conversation to go in circles, talking about the same shit over and over again? Yes, I should have told you. Yes, that's my bad. No, that doesn't mean you can bring up every single fucking thing from my past to try and hurt me. I'm here. If you want to talk, let's talk. If you don't, fine by me. I have plenty of other shit to go do in this godforsaken town. Right. More important shit than your parents' funeral. You really are a heartless fucking bastard. Yeah, well, I doubt you're doing this out of the goodness of your own heart either. You need money, don't you? You want to wrap this up quickly so you can sell off the house, I bet. You motherfucker. Okay, I think that's enough arguing. You have nothing to do with this. Kane's voice was remarkably cool. So much so, Noah couldn't help but feel in awe of Kane. He's a lot more collected than I could ever be. Maybe if I kept my calm like this when Asher used to bully me, he wouldn't have been so aggressive about it. Maybe not, but attacking each other isn't going to help anyone. Right, Mr. Moral High Ground. Look, I'm only here because I thought Noah would appreciate the company. That's all. And why do you think he'd need company, huh? He has me. Yes, well, therein lay the root of my concerns. You guys haven't ever been close. There's no use disputing that. I thought that if things went south, he might want someone to confide in. I don't intend to get in the way, though. I won't tell you how to prepare your parents' own funeral. Please, don't mind me. Don't mind you? Asher echoed Kane's sentiment, his voice sliding up a whole octave in disbelief. Right. Don't mind the near stranger sitting in my parents' house while they lie dead. Uh-huh. Not to stir the pot or anything, but as you said literally 2 minutes ago, they're dead. I don't think they'll mind all that much. Thanks for all your support, jackass. Man, you must be so happy to be the one at Noah's side, huh? We're friends. Of course I am. Yeah, sure. Friends, whatever. You must have been so happy when August died, huh? Excuse me? I said, you must have been happy when that blonde kid died. I mean, now you have Noah all to yourself. I would never be happy about that. He and I were friends. Are you telling me you didn't wish he'd just disappear at least once? Will you just leave Kane alone? You're being an insensitive prick right now. Asher once again directed his glare at Noah, his eyes narrowed and his face pale. At that moment, Asher really was living up to his name. He definitely looked ashen. Funny, coming from you. How anyone actually wants to be friends with you, I don't think I'll ever understand. You've always been a moody little shit, and it only got worse through the years, I see. Nobody seems to care. The feelings are mutual. Oh, wait, do you even have any friends left? Noah felt something almost snap inside. Oh no. Asher's constant beration was beginning to wear on him. I have plenty more friends than you do. His voice was defensive and surprised, as if he hadn't expected Noah to say anything in return. I seriously doubt that. The only person who could ever put up with you was Reuben. So, where is he? Don't talk about him. Oh, you're allowed to shit-talk August, but I can't even mention Reuben? Sounds a little unfair to me. Unfair? What's unfair is that you took away the one fucking good thing I had in this life. The one person I cared about. You did that all by yourself. You're looking for someone to blame, but you chased him away with your own actions. I know that because you told me. God, you're way more honest in your dreams. So what if I was a little mean to you? You needed it. Like I needed a fucking knife in my back. If Ruben threw you aside like a used tissue, then you deserved it. Fine. I'm a total piece of shit who doesn't deserve anyone. Glad you realized. But, to be honest, even I don't think that's true. I can't fucking stand you. The energy behind his voice was mostly gone. All that remained was a quiet, tired hate. I know. It's not like you ever tried to hide it. You're not telling me anything I wasn't already aware of. I was hoping you might be able to tell me something new, which is why I agreed to see you. But if you can't talk to me in a civil manner, I don't really see the point. We're just hashing out the same tired arguments we've always had. Why did you even invite me here if you just wanted to attack me again? You could have done that over the phone and spared me the journey. Oh, please. Don't act so fucking hard done by. You wouldn't know of real hardship if it smacked you across the face. Sometimes I'd rather you smack me across the face than argue like this. Well, if you insist. Just try it, Asher, and see what happens. So the little guard dog has fangs after all. Was that supposed to be a threat? Do you want to find out? Kane cracked his knuckles menacingly. He didn't take a step forward, but the promise of pain was enough to make Asher take an uneasy step back. Asher might have been tall himself, but he wasn't as tall as Kane, and neither was he as muscular. If a fight did erupt between them, it was obvious who would win. Asher didn't stand a chance. Asher, that's enough. You're just being pathetic. You think? Asher snorted. If one of us is pathetic, I'd say it's you. You barely even know the best friend at your side. Hilarious, coming from you. You didn't only push away Ruben, but Daisy too, right? How the fuck do you know Daisy? Wouldn't you like to know? She had some choice words about you. She liked you a lot, and you only ever had eyes for Ruben, I heard. I don't think you're in the boat to be complaining about best friends caring too much about each other. Shut the fuck up. You wouldn't understand. I think I understand perfectly. Maybe Ruben would forgive you if you, I don't know, tried to make a change. Here comes the backup again. You always had backup. Mom was always on your side when we were kids. How many times do I have to tell you that's not true? She always compared me to you. Always complained I wasn't you. Always hyped up every single one of your stupid fucking actions while looking down her nose at me. I don't believe you. Why not? Because she did the exact same thing to me. Oh, Asher, Noah scored so well on his test, and Asher, why can't you be as creative as Noah? I'm sick of it. Asher, why did you drive your brother off? He ran away all because of you. Now I never have to hear it again, I suppose. I didn't realize she was playing us both. Well, that is if you're not lying. I'm not. Don't you think it's a little late to bother lying about this when our parents are both dead? Fuck. She always was a crazy bitch. That's an understatement. Though the two still stood across from each other hostile, just a tiny bit of the tension eased up for just a moment as the two brothers found solace in the other's suffering. Look, I'm not fucking happy you brought company when I wanted a chance to sit down and work all this shit out with you. But I should have expected it. We can still talk about it. Nah. I'm not feeling it today, and I don't have any desire to hang around here with the two of you and your unresolved fucking feelings. He turned, heading back towards the entryway. Asher, hey, wait. Where are you going? Dunno. Don't care. Enjoy the place while we still have it. Ah, for fuck's sake. Noah exhaled through his nostrils, begging the universe, as he did, for inner peace. The universe, of course, did not answer. It never did. Well, so much for that. You can't just go. We only just got here. We've barely had a chance to discuss anything. I think we've discussed plenty. I don't have anything else to say today. We can work out the funeral and shit later. Too fucking tired. Asher's fingers wound tightly around the handle of the front door. Sharply, he pulled it down. The lock clicked. Then, Asher stepped outside. It was late, and the sky beyond the house was dark. The front garden swarmed with shadows which soon swallowed Asher whole. Noah wondered where Asher would spend the night. Did he have a plan? Maybe he would stay at a hotel, provided he had the money for it. It didn't seem to matter too much, though, what Asher did. He just wanted to escape. Well, I can't exactly blame him for that. The atmosphere in here is pretty tense. It's not my fault, though. I'm not the one who started this. I never started any of this. Asher's always had it out for me. At least I can almost understand why now. It'd be like my mother to set us against each other. The front door slammed shut behind Asher with a thud. Then, there was nothing. Nothing except deep, dark silence. Noah didn't know, in Asher's absence, what to do. He didn't know what to say. He felt hollow and empty, like a crab whose meat had been scooped out. There was one thing, however, he was certain of. So, Asher hates me. Nothing new there, so why does it feel so shitty this time around? Noah looked at his feet. His brow furrowed. Then, feeling more than a little lost, he mumbled, "Well, that could have gone better." "You're telling me?" Kane snorted. The guy was being a grade A asshole, as per usual. Actually, I think he might have been behaving like an even bigger asshole than usual. Maybe it's the funeral preparations. It must be taking a lot out of him. It sounds stressful. Sure it is. He still didn't need to say all that shit to you, though. It's not your fault your parents died. I know. I'm sure Asher knows that, too. I guess he just wasn't thinking very logically. No shit. Kane scoffed. So much for being an honor student, huh? He's really let himself slide. I guess. Noah frowned. Being told by his older brother, in no uncertain terms, that he was hated was painful, but this wasn't the only remark of Asher's that Noah found himself dwelling on. It's hard to believe, since my mother always used to compare me to Asher, but I really can't imagine him being jealous of me. He always had everything. He always seemed like he had everything. This wasn't a possibility Noah had ever considered before. Why would Asher, after all, be envious of him? What did Noah have that he didn't? Noah couldn't wrap his head around it. But it was obvious now that Asher thought there was something to envy in his younger brother. This petty, caustic envy had been welling up inside Asher, unchecked, for years and years. It was only now, after their parents' death, that it had all come bubbling to the surface. Asher had said things, a lot of things, which couldn't be taken back. The next time Noah talked to his older brother, it would have to be with the knowledge he had gleaned from that conversation, that Asher couldn't stand him. How are they ever supposed to reconcile things now? Noah had hoped, in seeing Asher again, they might be able to bury the hatchet. This, however, was wishful thinking. Kane was right. I shouldn't have expected anything. I told myself I wasn't expecting anything, but clearly I let myself get carried away. I got my hopes up. What a stupid thing to do around Asher, of all people. Why did I think he would ever change? Noah sighed. If I dropped down dead tomorrow, I don't think Asher would care at all. In fact, I think he'd be glad to be rid of me. I always knew he hated me, but I never knew he hated me quite this much, All right, and with Asher gone, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this episode kind of made my throat sore from all of the yelling. Editing it back, you can't really tell that I was like fully into it with the voice and being kind of a little bit louder because of the settings on my microphone. I set it so that if I yell, the volume goes down so you guys don't like hear me yelling and I don't blow out your eardrums or anything. But I was really getting into it in this episode. I was really going for it. And my throat hurt after this episode. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here for now. So thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one for some more Dreambound.